when I think about, my relationship with Christ, really before college, it doesn't even feel right to use the word relationship. And so I knew a lot. I had a relationship with Jesus about like I had a relationship with George Washington. And so I knew facts about Jesus. I had heard stories about Jesus. I intellectually believed that those stories were true. But there was no connection. There was no intimacy. Really made no difference in my life. By the time I actually ended up at college, my only goal was to have as much fun as I could possibly have. And so I was just kind of done with sports, done with school. If I happened to graduate in college, that was a nice bonus. But really, I was like, I can stretch this thing out to 5 years, I think, and have as much fun as I possibly can. I had, from the outside looking in, it was like, okay, like, I couldn't probably have scripted my life to have gone any better at that point than it was. But if I was around people and I was doing things like that, like life was good. But eventually, the parties would end. People would go away, and specifically, I could think of 2 times in my day where I was alone with my thoughts. When I would lay down to go to sleep at night, and when I would take a shower. And so those are like the 2 times in the day where I was forced to be alone with my thoughts, and I was lonely. I just knew like there's got to be more to life than this. I had people around me, but I didn't have anybody that knew me. I didn't have any sense of real purpose for my life, and I was just when I was forced to be alone, I was sad, and I think it forced me to come to grips with that. And there's actually, I kind of mentioned I joined this fraternity to live this certain kind of life. Well, it was actually a guy who joined that same fraternity a year earlier for opposite reasons. He wanted to meet guys like me. He was a Christian. He was following Jesus. He actually worked at a church and realized that being in a church didn't afford him a lot of opportunities to be around people that didn't know Jesus. And so he joined this fraternity to meet people like me. And his name was Brandon. And Brandon, he just kept finding ways to insert himself into my life. And so he would come by my dorm room while me and my friends were skipping class, playing video games, and just to hang out with us. He would sit next to me, next to the cafeteria. In the cafeteria, he would invite me with him late nights to go study. He just kept he was just always around. And he was the happiest person I ever knew. He was at every party we had, but he wasn't drinking. He wasn't trying to, hook up with a girl. He was just different. And he would always talk about that difference. That the difference in his life was that he had a real relationship with Jesus. And I'd never seen that. And so I could tell you all the stories, and I knew the facts, and I even would say I believed in him, but it is different. The way he relates to Jesus, it is different. It's something that I don't have. I began to realize that it wasn't just me knowing facts about Jesus. Like I was separated from him. Like that's sin in my life. There were consequences for that. And that consequences was I was separated from God. And that's why I needed Jesus to die, because there was a penalty for my sin. And that gap needed to be bridged. And that's why Jesus died. And that's why he came back to life. And I needed to trust him to take away my sins and to take control of my life and to give me that connection with God. And I do remember one moment just kind of driving in my truck down I-35, and I kind of reached this point, I just started crying, and just kind of I'm driving down the road, just tears coming down my face. And I just remember saying to the Lord, it's like, I'm yours, I'm yours, I'm yours. I just kind of prayed that prayer. I remember as a 19-year-old, having never really read the Bible before, sitting in my dorm room at 1 a.m. with the lights on, trying to keep my roommate from getting mad, but just reading the Gospels over and over again, because I just wanted to learn about Jesus. And I never would have done that. I hate reading. And so, but I started to desire the Word. I wanted to tell other people about what Jesus had done for me. So I think a real sense of gratitude for how he had changed me. And it was just this natural response. I want other people to know about this. And so yeah, there's not a thing in my life that hasn't been changed because of that. Jesus isn't just something to learn about. He's not just a historical figure. He's not just facts even to believe. He wants to enter into your life, and he wants to change you. He wants to change everything about you. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old is gone, the new has come. And that's what he does. He changes you at your core, to where you can relate with him, but he wants to make you into a new person, and with new priorities and new sense of joy and peace. And so I think Jesus is meant to be experienced. He's not just a fact to be believed in. And when you experience him, he will not leave you unchanged. That's not an option.